from Innistrad, so you guys can
all... See, I want that. I don't have
You can
that.
watch out. You can watch out.
Yeah, but I figured, like, it's gonna be, it's gonna come up at some point that if I'm, like, saying how expensive some card is, even if it's some regular card, that's because it's all I can play with are foils.
Yeah. I actually own one of Travis's foil cards.
Yeah, that's how we met you, and I was looking back, like, through the DMs and stuff, and how hilarious it was. I don't know if I even told you the story of how I obtained that, and, it is from a retailer that we just mentioned. I'm not going to say which specific one. I ordered a playset of foil Molten Tail Mastercores from them, and they shipped me 8 of them. And, yeah, I felt really bad, and I actually did mean to return them. I honestly meant to return them, but, it just didn't happen. I just didn't really get around to it. And I was sitting around on Twitter trying to figure out how to get more followers, and I was thinking, hey, I could just whore myself out for some Twitter followers and give these away. So I figured I didn't keep them. I was kind of donating them to a good cause, as in I got like 150 Twitter followers or something that day. So it made me pretty happy. But yeah, Jason was one of the random ones. I brought my iPad down and had Big Head Joe just scroll down my newly added friends, and he picked Really Little Genius. And yeah.
Do you have an iPad? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do have an iPad, and so yeah, the rest is history, I guess. But you seem to have gotten much more active on Twitter after that, and because. I don't know. Maybe you were active on Twitter before that.
A little bit, but not as much actually. Right. I just started following. I don't even know who it was that I saw retweeted, but I had just sort of started getting back onto Twitter because that was around the time I actually started like really getting back into Magic. So I was just like, oh, okay, foil card, like a foil card, sure. Follow this guy. Like, I had no idea that it was the Joe.
Yeah.
And now I have it. So I'm gonna have Big Head Joe sign it for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was completely random, and you definitely seem to have gotten more active in the Twitter community. I feel like at this point, had I not given you that card, I still would have probably been following you at this point, because you follow lots of people and are very active, and I feel like if you're a Magic player right now, you should be.
Yeah, if you're a Magic player and not on Twitter,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong. You need to get on Twitter.
Right.
There's a lot of information floating around on Twitter that is floating around faster than it is.
Yeah. It's by far the most useful resource. Like, I never thought I would get into Twitter because I had Facebook, and I'm friends with the people that I know in real life on Facebook, and then what's the point of Twitter? And then it just all completely made sense. Once I saw how active the Magic community is on Twitter, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible to be on Twitter.
It's pretty nuts when you can make comments to like Aaron Forsyth and get responses.
Right. Directly to Aaron Forsyth, or just like rules questions at a Holovase. Is that Arthur Holovase? Is that how you pronounce his name? Anytime you have a rules question, tweet at HALAVAIS, and he will get back to you in about 30 seconds with the correct answer. It's happened multiple times. It's just a very, very useful tool, and I feel like I was partly responsible in some way, maybe, for having you become active on Twitter.
At least partly.
Yeah.
At least partly.
Yeah, I was very happy about that. It's just...
That's a cool story for everybody.
Yeah, foil Molten Tail Mastercores. I gave one to Jay Boosh also.
Wow.
And yeah, that one was kind of rigged, and I actually got called out for that. And that was right around the time Jay Boosh, for those of you that don't know, co-host of the A-Team podcast, which, if I wasn't already biased at GeoMTG Taps, and I believe that they're the best podcast out there, and Jay Boosh has provided many hours of entertainment, and had even at that point, so I gave him one, and I forget who I even gave the other two to. but I gave away 4 foil molten tail. One of the better Twitter giveaways I've seen. I mean, there's people that do some ridiculous shit on Twitter. They give away, like, I think someone gave away, like, a set of something recently for followers.
Jeebus did some pretty sweet giveaways.
Yeah,
he did.
I still feel like 4 foil molten tail Masticores was like, and they weren't completely worthless at that point, and I feel they will go up as well. I think that's,
They're still not worthless, they're still cool. I mean, it's even an EDH card, especially since it's already foil.
Right.
So if I ever actually start playing EDH, I'll play it.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of myself. I was like, hey, this is a cool thing to do with these extra foil molten tail Masticores. And if the company that sent them to me ever hears this for whatever reason, they can know that the ones they sent me by accident went to a good cause.
Yep.
Why is Curse of Death sold 5 mana? That card should have been like 4 mana.
What is that one?
Curse of Death Sold. It's like 5 mana. Enchant player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enchanted player's creatures get -1/-1.
Oh, so it's like Engineered Plague for anything.
Knight of Soul's Betrayal. Just your opponent.
Yeah.
But for 5 mana.
Yeah, I don't know.
5. I watched
Brendan Hurst at Hamiltonian Hurst on Twitter.
You should definitely follow
I'm
him
not
and
saying
talk to him.
if you resolve the card, it would be really, really sweet. But like against the decks that you want it feels like you would want it earlier than turn 5, probably.
Yeah, but it couldn't cost 4 mana, could it? Could that really cost 4 mana?
It'd be like a way better Knight of Soul's Betrayal.
You really think
Way better one.
Then you could get it out on turn
Snapcast
3.
Cast. So
Yeah, you can't really compare Snapcaster to that, though, can you?
yeah, Snapcast is awesome.
Yeah, it's very good. In the limited amount of games I've played with it, it's a very amazing card, and I've pretty much decided to not play any deck without it in Standard and at this point Legacy as well, because it's looking like Jerry Thompson's list is exactly like what I had in mind, but didn't even know it until I looked at his list. That's my way of saying I'm going to just completely steal his list. But yeah, that bug legacy list looks amazing. And I said before that I wanted to snapcast him to Torok in the Legacy Open, so I'm going to actually make that happen now.
Okay, well let's transfer
Really
and start talking about some Magic then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that like Storm decks don't make a big turnout next time and like people don't play High Tide because I want to play High Tide.
You're not going to help that cause then. If you don't want people to play High Tide, then you shouldn't play High Tide. You don't want them to play it so you can be the only one to play it, right?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be the only one to play. I just don't want people to be prepared against it.
Okay. How do you feel people can prepare against High Tide? What do you feel are the best ways?
Not telling you.
If you're not telling me, you would be telling our listeners. I feel like that would be something that I'm curious about as well. I think if you feel like there is something...
Well, in my opinion, discard spells really hurt the deck because like once you start going off, your hand is what you have. Like, Arilax also said this on SCG Live, like yesterday, I think. Thing with Storm decks is that, like, once you start going off, you have to go off that turn. So what you have in your hand right now and then is what you have. And, like, if your hand size is smaller than 7, you're at a disadvantage, right?
Right.
So you want to have...
to me, when it feels like the only times I've even played against High Tide have been against you, and it seems like the Time Spiral is the card that really, like, puts the nail in the coffin, because that gives you an entire new hand to work with.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
You're kind of correct, but let me just correct myself before I say something wrong. In like some Tendrils decks, it's okay to have a small hand size because that lets you cast Infernal Tutor easier.
Right.
Help. But like in High Tide, definitely your hand size really matters, and Time Spirals are really critical. But the problem with Time Spirals is that, of course, you can give your opponent counter spells that they've already cast.
Right. Okay.
Well, like, High Tide is just way harder to play than, like, Tendrils decks, because obviously, I mean, do I need to explain why it is?
Sure, explain why.
No, like...
I'm interested in hearing why you think it is.
Your team has destroyed.
First of all, the Tide count.
Okay.
keeping track, like, you have to keep track of more enough.
Dice.
Yeah, no, seriously though, like, and your win condition, which is time spiral basically, requires you to like give your opponent back spells when they don't have any action, so they get ways to interact with you. Tendrils decks have like Thoughtseize and Duress to stop your opponent from interacting with you, and also see their hand and see if it's safe to go off. High Tide doesn't have that luxury, and like ad nauseum, Burning Wish and Infernal Tutor are really powerful engines that you don't have in High Tide. Like, yes, you have Merchant Scroll, but that only gets you the High Tide. To get the Time Spiral, you don't have any way to reliably get your Time Spiral unless you play like Intuition. But even then, it's kind of shaky. So, High Tide is harder, and High Tide is like, if Tess has like 10 Storm count, you win, right? You just Tendrils them and then you win. For High Tide to win, like you either have to have like 30 Storm count and Brain Freeze them, or like 50 mana and Blue Sun Zenith them.
So what would you say are the advantages of playing High Tide then? To me it sounds like maybe Epic Storm or Tendrils seems like a better combo deck to play then, wouldn't it?
You get to play Force of Will.
Okay, that's a very
you
good...
get to play... Yeah, I mean that's
very good reason.
That's the main advantage. And also like, I guess it's harder to take because you don't have like LED and stuff. Like, it's kind of more consistent and kind of less consistent.
You don't sound so sure about this though. It seems like seems like you just want to use your candelabras and show off that you have candelabras. And that's
yeah, but then again,
I
sleep on group tutors, but after watching Ari play, I was like, maybe I should play with these group tutors.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You just want to show off all your pimp cards.
But yeah, like, I love Storm. Storm is one of my favorite mechanics.
Yeah, it's the worst mechanic ever. So you
Yep.
enjoy it. Yeah, it's without a doubt the worst mechanic ever. Storm players even admit that. That's the worst part about Storm. And Jason, you were saying that you were thinking about playing Dredge, right?
Dredge is the legacy deck that I built. The legacy deck I built. And,
the second worst mechanic they've ever made.
Yep, and it's
these are facts, right? It's like Storm.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like these are facts. Okay.
The only way you can beat Dredge is really by playing the graveyard.
Right.
And you're just gonna lose.
But it probably shouldn't be packing Graveyard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so I have Dredge built now that Mental Misstep is banned. I have a lot more. I feel a lot more confident actually going to be playing it because I can play my one-drop discard outlets.
Yes, Thoughtseize. Yeah, I had been playing Black-White discard for a long time, despite Thoughtseize or Mental Misstep existing, and I honestly don't even remember when the last time was I've resolved a Thoughtseize in a critical situation, so that will be so nice.
So I won't have to go on the draw discard dredge plan a lot.
Yeah.
I can actually just try and land a Putrid Imp or a Tireless Tribe and go off, which I like doing a lot better. I
feel like Thoughtseize is one of the most important cards. Thoughtseize or Inquisition, those types of cards were probably one of the most important cards that Mental Misstep shut off. Because the decks that ran Mental Misstep got hurt very badly, or could be hurt very badly by Thoughtseize, and them having extra added defenses against that made things get out of control. Yeah. Right, I mean, like, there's the Lackeys, and Aether Vial will also make a big comeback, but the Thoughtseize, to me, especially just as a Black-White discard player, resolving the turn... Yeah, that's it, yeah. Resolving the turn 1 Thoughtseize, though, especially against all these combo decks that we're talking about, was absolutely critical, and just did not happen in Mental Misstep. So... I'm very happy that it's gone. So.
Well, I was very interested to read so much online after they announced the banning, how they were talking about High Tide, and there really was none of it this weekend.
So the problem with High Tide is that, like, there are like 1,000 or so candelabras thought to be in existence. That means like
I still don't buy that. I've seen the same things you're talking about. There have to be more than that. Like,
Dude, like the print run of the set was low, and like the card was not common.
There's more than 1,000 candelabras.
Fine. I haven't, like, I've...
More than 1,000 candelabras.